Love and light friends. Gonna show you something today that you've never seen, but I want to start out by asking you what you see right here. And when you look at this, what do you see? And I'm going to come back to this later, but you can be thinking about this. What do you see when you look at this picture? Alright, so now let's get to looking at something you've never seen. And we're going to go into the Old Testament, Ezekiel here. And we're going to read, this is 28:25 through 29:21. I'm just showing it to you here so you can see that I'm actually, this is what I'm going to read. So you can kind of see it, but you probably won't be able to follow along because my phone's too close and it'd just be too hard. But anyway, you can look it up in the book if you want to follow along. But it says here that Adonai Elohim says, "Once I have gathered the house of Israel from the peoples among whom they are scattered, once I have shown my holiness in them as the goyim watch, then they will live in their own land which I gave to my servant Yaakov. They will have security when they live there, building houses and planting vineyards. Yes, they will live in safety once I have executed judgments against all their contemptuous neighbors. Then they will know that I am Adonai, their God. On the 12th day of the month of the 12th year, the word of Adonai came to me. Human being, turn your face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Prophesy against him and against all Egypt. Speak out and say that Adonai Elohim says, I am against you, Zidon, Tzidon, but I will be glorified in you. They will know that I am Adonai, once I execute judgments in her and show my holiness in her. For I will send plagues into her, and blood will flow in her streets, attacked from all sides by the sword. The wounded will fall within her. Then they will know that I am Adonai. The house of Israel will no longer have a briar pricking away at them. No longer will any of its contemptuous neighbors be a thorn to stab them. Then they will know that I am Adonai Elohim. Adonai Elohim says, once I have gathered the house of Israel from the peoples among whom they are scattered, once I have shown my holiness. Okay, so he repeats again right there, which I don't care to do. Alright, and then let's jump down to the next part here, Lamentations 3:21 through 24. But in my mind, I keep returning to something that gives me hope, that the grace of Adonai is not exhausted, that his compassion has not ended. On the contrary, they are new every morning. How great is your faithfulness! Adonai is all I have, I say. Therefore I will put my hope in him. A little bit more. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I'm going to show you something. Okay, then we jump over to Daniel, and it says, Daniel testified, suddenly a hand touched me, which made me tremble on my knees and on the palms of my hands. Daniel 10:10. The word for touched here means to violently seize upon. Daniel was saying, when God placed his hand on me, it put me on my face. His touch filled me with an urgency to seek him with all that is in me. God-touched servants have an intimate relationship with the Lord. They receive revelations from heaven and enjoy a walk with Christ that few others do. Whenever God touches someone's life, that person often falls to his knees and he becomes a person of prayer, driven to seek the Lord. I've often wondered why God touches only certain people with this urgency. Why do some servants become hungry seekers after him while other faithful people go on their way? All right, and that's probably enough to show you what I want to show you. And we're going to go over this again, but we're going to take a metaphysical gaze at this and really decipher what's going on here. All right. And this is political. This is a political agenda couched in obviously scripture, but I'm trying to think of a different way to say that. But it's a political agenda couched in supposedly scriptures that come from supposedly God. All right, and when I say God, I'm talking about the creator, the prime creator. I'm not talking about egregor gods, lower gods, deity gods. But this right here, whatever's speaking right here in Ezekiel 28 through 29, Adonai, Elohim, this is an egregor speaking right here. This is not the creator, and I'll show it to you. You probably already heard it, but let's look at it. Once I have gathered the house of Israel from the peoples among whom they are scattered. So it's saying that the most special people, the most the chosen people, right? The special people, the ones that God really cares about, or this Elohim caricature, who's posing as God. See, that's where you have to be careful here. You have to know who is speaking, actually. Because they're convoluting all this to mean it's all the same thing. It's all coming from the Creator. It's all the prime creator, if you will. And that's not true whatsoever. And you can just tell by the heart of what's being said, of who's speaking. All right? So it says, goes on to say, once I have shown my holiness in them as the goyim watch, then they will live in their own land, which I gave to my servant Yaakov. So what we're being asked to believe then is that the Creator is only concerned about His special people that are scattered all around the earth, and everybody else, you, me, everybody else, are the goyim. Can you see that word there? Goyim. Well, the goyim watch. That's you. Then they will live in their own land, which I gave to my servant Yaakov. They will have security when they live there, building houses and planting vineyards. Yes. Okay, so let's think about what's going on the ground, on the earth. Did all these people come back to this place that supposedly this entity right here gave to his servant Yaakov, called Israel in the Middle East? Why, yes, they have, haven't they? And since they believe that this is the Creator, the prime Creator, speaking right here, then they can justify doing ignorance, like calling the rest of humanity goyim. And what they don't tell you right here is when they build their houses and plant their vineyards, they're going to have to kill the people that already have houses and vineyards planted there. They're going to have to get rid of this problem right here, the goyim, the lesser people. So this is divisive, very divisive. This is not, that's why you know who's speaking here and who's not. See, if your heart is open and you can discern and you can think metaphysically, you can easily begin to decipher what's going on right here. They will live in safety once I have executed judgments against all their contemptuous neighbors. So in other words, everybody that already lives there, that will then become their neighbors when they all flock back to this place that Yaakov gave them, that this Adonai creature gave to Yaakov. Then they all go back and start expanding their turf. There's not even their turf. They're now occupiers. They're now seizing upon land that people already live at, already have houses at, already have vineyards at. But since they think that this is God, they're dumb enough to try to see. They're the ones trying to fool you, though. See, that's what's going on here. They know that this is a political. This is political nonsense couched in supposed scripture from supposed God. And so that's how they can justify the treachery that they perform on their neighbors. I thought it said in other places in the same book that you're supposed to love your neighbor. But no, it says right here that they can go back there and start building their houses and vineyards and all this, because they're going to know. Then they will know I am Adonai their God. Right? So this is so that everybody, I guess, knows that Adonai is the egregor of the chosen people. On the 12th day of the 12th month of the 12th year, the word of Adonai came to me. Human being, turn your face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Prophesy against him and against all Egypt. Speak out and say that Adonai Elohim says. So right here he's saying, I'm again dividing. I'm again telling you to speak against people, to try to bring division, try to cause strife, right? So that I can be justified. Because this, whoever's speaking right here, whatever this entity is, it's jealous, it's defensive, it's got a bone to pick, it's got a bad attitude, and that is supposed to be the creator, we're told. We're mind controlled into being told that this is the creator, but it obviously, clearly is not. I am against you, Tzidon, Sidon, but I will be glorified in you. They will know that I am Adonai once I execute judgments on her and show my holiness in her. So now they're associating judgments with holiness. Now they're getting into that whole warped way of thinking where death and bloodshed is somehow holy, somehow righteous, right? For I will send plagues into her, and blood will flow in her streets. So this prime creator that supposedly, the creator, right, supposedly created all mankind, now he's getting a little bit happy about telling you how he's going to send plagues and that blood's going to flow in the streets, attacked from all sides by the sword, and wounded will fall within her. Then they will know I am Adonai. Do you see the warped sickness here? These people are trying to get you to believe that your creator, that created everything, all mankind, speaks this way, acts this way, and then writes this down and sends it out into the lower minds of mankind to be duped into a political agenda because they're not discerned. They don't have any discernment. They cannot think metaphysically. The house of Israel will no longer have a briar pricking away at them. No longer will any of its contemptuous neighbors be a thorn to stab them. Then they will know that I am Adonai. So everybody should just basically, when those people walk up and say, hey, Yaakov gave us this land. Yaakov gave us your house. Yaakov gave us your vineyard. You should just get your belongings and get out of here. Because we say that Adonai is God, right? But if they don't do that, if they say, no, we've lived here for hundreds of years. We've lived here for thousands of years. We don't have to go. We don't have to be deposed. Oh, well, you're being a thorn. You're being a thorn, stabbing the chosen people. Because you're, after all, you're just goyim. You're just the goyim. You see? You see how they mind control this? All right, and then to finish the part, let's finish what we read, because there's something towards the end here I really want you to see, to get this. All right, we're in Lamentations now 3, but in my mind, I keep returning to something that gives me hope, that the grace of Adonai is not exhausted, that his compassion has not ended. Where did we see grace? Where did we see compassion? In Ezekiel, what we just read right here. It was talking about blood, people being attacked, people being wounded and falling within her. Where's the grace and compassion? So now they've flipped over to a different section of Scripture to try to attach these two pieces of Scripture together as though they go together at all. They don't, because this is not grace up here. This is not compassion up here. On the contrary, ironically, they are new every morning. How great is your faithfulness. Adonai is all I have, I say. Therefore I will put my hope in him. So they're just trying to drum up and act like everything we just read up here is actually a good thing, when it's horrible. This is horrible right here, what we read. But they've got to try to sweet coat it with sugar coat. So they go to Lamentations and throw this little part in, and that sugar coats this horrific garbage that's right here. All right, now let's finish what we had read over here. Daniel testified. So now we've jumped over into Daniel to try to string this garbage together. Daniel testified, suddenly a hand touched me, which made me tremble on my knees and on the palms of my hands. Daniel 10:10. The word for touched here means to violently seize upon. Now I want you to think for a second. If you have an encounter with the Creator, would you describe that as being violently seized upon? Or if you haven't had an experience with the Creator, would you want to think of it in terms of, man, I can't wait until I have an encounter with the Creator, because I'm going to be violently seized upon, so I can't wait for that. No, the Prime Creator does not violently seize upon people. Love working through the heart has nothing to do with violence. But right here, they've snuck that in on you. I'll show it to you right there, violently. Seized upon. They sneak this crap in on you, and if you're not paying attention and you're not thinking metaphysically, you're going to think that all this garbage goes together, and that all these different entities right here are all the Prime Creator, when they're not. Right? David was saying, when God placed his hand on me, it put me on my face. His touch filled me with an urgency to seek him with all that is in me. And so just quickly, if you were already in a relationship with the Creator, you already had knowledge of the Creator, you already were living from your heart of love, then why would you need to have an urgency to seek him? Right? Or if you had just been violently seized upon by so-called God, then why would that put an urgency to seek him within you? Didn't you find him? When he was violently seizing upon you, doesn't that mean that you were having a direct encounter? And so then why would you need to have an urgency to seek him? Why would you seek what you had already found? Why would you need to do that? This is convoluted. This makes no sense. God-touched servants have an intimate relationship with the Lord. And the Lord, I like to just say Lord. Lord. This is a lower deal. Lower entity. This is not God. They receive revelations from heaven and enjoy a walk with Christ that few others do. All right, notice what's being done here. This Old Testament egregor entity that does everything contrary to the heart and to love and to compassion and to true grace, they slowly start slipping over toward Christ to end up actually using the name right here. If you enjoy a walk with Christ that few others do. So now they've convoluted this whole little beginning of their spiel right here, and now they're trying to throw Christ into the mix as though all of this is Christ, as though Christ puts his stamp of approval on all of this mess. But he does not. Whenever God touches someone's life, that person often falls to his knees and he becomes a person of prayer, driven to seek the Lord. So again, after you've had this amazing encounter with God that puts you on your knees and you've obviously found him, well, I guess you didn't find him, because now you're going to become a person of prayer, driven to seek. Driven to seek. Why would a person be driven to seek what they've already found? I've often wondered why God touches only certain people with this urgency. Why do some servants become hungry seekers after him while other faithful people go on their way? Other faithful people go on their way because they can think metaphysically and read through the BS lines. All right, and so we could go on. We could go on through this whole thing, right? But we're not going to, because that's what I wanted to show you. It's obvious. It's clear. Anybody can see that. And so here we are back to the beginning of, I was asking you what you see here. What you see here. And so I'm going to tell you what I see here. I see that this is being exalted. This is being maligned. This is higher than this. This is being judged and put in a place of ignorance. And look, they try to make the Egyptian man look like the fool. And this man is all wise and all knowing, because he's chosen and he's goyim. But the truth, nothing could be further from the truth. This man has the ancient wisdom. This man is connected to the prime creator. This man is following an egregor that's about division, is about speciality, is about moving in on other people and kicking them out of the way because they're less than you are, because Adonai is God to them. This is division. This will never unify humanity. This is all about division. Right here. So, wow, my time's pretty much up. So I'm going to leave it at that. Love and light, my friends. Very interesting stuff to look at and think about and realize. Love and light until next time, my friends.